Hi, my name is Adam Flynn with our IT marketing team, and in today's training video we are going to take a look at how to quote through our NAU Country mobile application. To begin, let's go ahead and pull up the app, which you can see here, and we are currently in the policyholder tab where we can see our policyholders. From here we're going to navigate down to our prospects tab and begin building a quote for a prospect. You can either A, skip the new MPCI quote where you have the ability to add an agent and name the quote and head right down to the add coverage, or you can select this new MPCI quote section and add the agent along with some of the other general information associated to this prospect. So you can see here I already have an agent added, but let's go ahead and change the name of this quote. You can see once I tap the new MPCI quote section, I have the ability to edit this text. So for this quote, we'll go ahead and name it our test quote. If everything looks correct, go ahead and tap the back button next to our prospect's name, and we can begin to add our coverages. So let's go ahead and tap this section here, and you can see our first question we need to answer is what county will this quote be for? I'll simply just select the first county on the list. Followed by that question, you'll see we now have the ability to select a crop. For this quote, we'll select corn. And now we'll have to enter our plan we'd like to quote. For this quote, we'll select revenue protection. Once those first three questions are answered, you can see we have a whole list of options we can select from. For this quote, I'm going to head straight down to our unit options, and I'll select our EU. For our common options, I'm going to select our yield cup, yield exclusion, and we'll add preventive planning. Again, similar to before, we'll simply tap this back button next to the test quote, and we return to the original screen. We also have the ability to add special options by simply tapping this area here, where we have the ability to add high-risk land exclusion. For this example, I'll leave that off. If everything looks correct, we now have the ability to begin adding units. So I'll tap this area here and build a unit. I'll leave the unit type numbering the same, but for our type, I'll select grain. For our practice, I'll select non-irrigated. We'll leave the acres at 100 for simple math, and we'll also leave the share name and share percent alone, but you do have that ability to edit as well. You can see we can now begin to edit our yields. Again, I'll leave as is. And we also have the ability to enter in our price and price volatility factor. From here, you can actually navigate directly into a county rate sheet or view this basic quote. Obviously, you still have the ability to delete this unit as well. But in this case, I actually want to add a second unit. So I'm going to tap the test quote back button one more time. You'll see we now have one unit already here. So I'm just going to simply tap the add unit button one more time and add one more unit. Please note the unit numbering is smart enough to edit it itself so that we don't have matching unit numbers. So again, I'll leave that alone. For type, again, I'll select grain, but for practice, I'll select irrigated this time. Everything else I'll leave as is. So again, once more, I'll select the back test quote button. As you can see, we now have our two units. And if we navigate down, we now have the ability to either A, view a county rate sheet, B, view our basic quote, or duplicate this coverage. So in this case, let's go ahead and select view basic quote. You can see it's first going to ask me which unit I'd like to add, which I'll tap and select the non-irrigated. As I move down, I'll keep all the coverage levels included, and I'll select shared for my document save options so that other agents within this agency can view this quote. If everything looks correct, you can see in the upper right hand corner we have our submit quote button. So I'll tap that now. And we now have our quote, our basic quote for this prospect. From here you have the ability to either A, print this, email and close this screen, or just close altogether. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and just select close. And you can see we're brought back to that original screen. Let's go ahead and tap back. Now let's head over to our policyholders and see where we can build a quote for one of our current policyholders. For this example, I'm going to select John Doe. Next, I'm going to select the current crop year. And then on the right, navigate down to the Actions tab, where you can see we have the ability to select the new quote from this policy. We'll select our new MPCI quote option, and from here the same functionality applies as we saw when we were quoting for a prospect. And this is how you quote using our NAU Country mobile application. If you have any additional questions, please contact your local marketing rep or your underwriter. Thanks so much and have a great rest of the day.